everyone, I am back with your Astro Basics for the week. I know I haven't done this in a couple of weeks, but I'm getting back on track. I am doing the sign of Cancer this week. And so in the Black Moon Astrology cards, Cancer has I feel on it, which is a key word for Cancer. Aries was about I am. Taurus is I have, my possessions. Mercury is I communicate, so it's our thoughts. And Cancer is our feelings. Cancer is a sign that's associated with the moon. It is ruled by the moon. It's the only sign ruled by the moon. It is very much a sign that is a water sign, just like Scorpio and Pisces, and it is the cardinal water sign. Each element has a cardinal fixed immutable. Cardinal signs are at the beginning of a season, so Cancer starts after the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. So in the north, it marks the start of summer. Cardinal signs are always at the beginning of a season, fixed in the middle, and mutable at the end. So Cancer, being a water sign, is very much about feelings. It's about intuition. It's also about our imagination as well. It's a nurturing sign. This is, in the tarot, it's associated with the Chariot. So even though it's a water sign, it's associated with the Chariot, which is all about determination. Cancer is symbolized by the crab, and crabs have their shell and they have their pinchers. Crabs walk sideways. The way that Cancer approaches things, it is determined, but it may not go at it directly. Cancers will often walk around a problem, or they'll attack it from another angle. But don't be mistaken just because they're a water sign that they aren't determined. They are a determined sign, that's for sure. Cancer is associated with imagination as well, intuition. Cancers often have a very strong intuition. They really have a strong empathy and feelings for others, so they're often associated with nurturing. In medieval astrology, they are associated with the breasts, with motherhood, with caring and nurturing. But the Cancer is a lot more than that. I think it often gets associated with that, and people forget about the other parts of them, which is that they are tough, that they have an outside shell, they're very sensitive underneath, and so often when they're upset, they tend to withdraw into their shell because they need to think about things, and then they will often, like I said, attack a problem or an issue sideways at another angle. They are worrywarts too. I have a Cancer moon, so I know this. They're worried. They tend to kind of like ruminate on things to, one of the downsides is that they ruminate and can kind of, get into anxiety a lot because they are feeling things so much and they take on other people's issues. But they need introvert time. They need to withdraw a little bit in order to go out into the world again. But when they're hurt, they can sometimes use their pinchers and sometimes, say things that hurt others as well. So, just like any sign, nothing's all good or all bad. We all have our challenges. So let's look in the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I finally remembered it. Thank you, people. To see what it says about the different signs. Okay. So let's go with, let's find the Sun cards. I know you are in here. There we go. Okay, Cancer, we have resourcefulness. And this is true. Cancers are very resourceful, and this is because of their great imagination. Here we have the crow, and crows and corvids are known for collecting shiny things, and Cancers love shiny things too. We have a vessel here, very much a water type symbol, but we have the sun as well. So Cancers are very resourceful. Because they have great imaginations, they're able to find ways of doing things that others might miss, and this is also part of the attacking things sideways type thing that the Cancer does. And because they do take on the emotions of others at times, they can be quite intuitive and empathic. Because they feel other people's feelings, this also gives them access to kind of seeing things from another person's perspective and feeling things from another person's perspective. Now we're going to look at the moon in Cancer, which is their home sign. And here we have friendship. Cancers are very good at making friends with other people. People often see them as good listeners, which, if you're a good listener, that tends to attract you a lot of friends. There's somebody, they often feel for others. They don't have a lot of enemies, sometimes, but because they feel for others, they often put themselves, like I said, in other people's positions. So they can really understand other people as well. They are a very understanding sign. They have great memories. That's the other thing. Cancers often like history, and they have a great memory. Mercury in Cancer is intuition. Surprise, surprise. So all the water signs are quite intuitive. Cancer, you know, is one as well that's very intuitive. This is kind of a very mysterious type looking card. We have somebody here with some lotuses. Cancers are a very spiritual type of card, but they tend to be more intuitively spiritual, or like they like to practice spirituality on their own. They're not really into like groups getting together or organized religion. I mean, this is generalization, of course, but they are a very intuitive sign who loves the mystical. Venus in Cancer is birth, and this is kind of the mothering association. When it comes to romance and when it comes to relationships, Cancers often end up in kind of like a motherly, fatherly type position because they're the nurturers. So here we have birth, we have the baby here, we have angel watching over sort of this pregnant angel, I think it is. Very much mothering is part of what they do in relationships. And they also want to be mothers. They want to be, or mothered, they want to be cared for by somebody when it comes to their romantic life. They want someone who will be a safe space to go to, somebody who's comforting, someone that they can come home to. Mars in Cancer is quarrel. So Mars is not terribly comfortable in the sign of Cancer. It tends to could have conflicts emotionally with people. Mars in Cancer tends to not directly talk about what's upsetting them or what's going on. They'll have a quarrel about something that's on the surface of things rather than dealing with what's underneath. There's also a tendency towards passive aggressiveness, which is not always helpful. So Mars in Cancer is not, you know, it's not super comfortable in that sign. Jupiter in Cancer is speculation. So Cancers tend to have a little bit of luck that goes with them, and it's because of the intuition. They kind of know when something looks good. If you have Jupiter in Cancer, you know when something's kind of like, oh, that's a bit of a good bet, I could put my money into that. And not necessarily with actual gambling, but you kind of know when there's an opportunity on the table for you. And again, it's more of an intuitive hit. It's not like you sit there and analyze it. You just sort of know. Saturn in Cancer is charity. So Saturn in Cancer often has to do with having emotional difficulties. It can usually symbolize a distance or with the father figure, troubles with the father figure if you have Saturn in Cancer. Saturn in Cancer, you know, here it shows, you know, somebody sort of looking at this big house here. It can symbolize a certain sense of loss or a feeling of alienation from one's traditional family or home, or from one's place of origin or one's culture in a certain way. So there's a sense of outsiderness. Saturn in Cancer has to do with dealing with emotional difficulties from when you were young, and then using it to be wise when you're older. The good thing about it is that it can make people very understanding of others, because they go, oh, well, I went through something similar, you know, when I was your age, or I've dealt with that already. So there is some benefits to it in the long run. So that is Cancer for you. If you have any other observations about Cancers that you know, or if you yourself are a Cancer, I have Cancer moon and I have Saturn Cancer, so I know those ones pretty well. Then let me know. Put in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace, love, and rock and roll as always. I will see you next time.